I am coming out of the theater after watching The Wolf Man. Oh! Listen, if you want to know how it is to be an alpha, the leader of the pack, you should watch this movie. Okay? Hey, how's it going? Look at me. I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing. I know it's stupid and all, but come on. I had to do it for today's review. And I was just walking by and I found this farm and I was like, yo, look at this herd of sheep. And it just came upon me and I was like, that'll make the perfect skit for the end of the video.
Papa, why is there a bear dressed up as a sheep?
Boy, I couldn't even tell you. It's always strange happening at this farm. Just the other day, there was some monkey dressed up as a mailman trying to steal our packages. You should have seen it, boy. I had to chase the monkey away with the wolves. Wait a minute. You're not my son. Who the hell are you?
And I'm hungry like the wolf. Hi, and welcome to another A Blank Review. That's right, I got a name for it now. I'm gonna start calling this series A Blank Review. And this one marks the first blank review for 2025. And the movie that I'm gonna be reviewing is a movie that is very, very scary. It's not for the faint of heart. If you're afraid of wolves, canines, K9, then I suggest you don't watch this movie because it's terrifying. But if you have a good heart, a heart that's good enough to become a meal for a wolf, then today I'll be reviewing Wolf Man, the movie about a man who's a wolf. Before I start the review, I just gotta say, I find it crazy how in December we had Nosferatu, who's, like an OG monster. And then in January, we had, Wolfman. And by the way, yes, I did watch this like 2 months ago, but it's all good. It's all good. I still remember some of it. Enough to do this next part of the review, which I have called it, Let Me Explain It, which is just me summarizing the movie to the best of my knowledge without checking wiki or whatever the hell it's out there. Alright. This movie follows a man from his childhood to his adulthood. So we see him as a kid and we see him as a father. Anyways, as a kid, he's been living with his father and they're being traumatized by a wolf man. And so then I guess he decides to be like, you know what? This, I'm leaving. So now he's older, he has a family, and it turns out his father has passed away. Well, technically he's missing, but time has passed enough that you could say he passed away. But anyways, he has to return back to his childhood home and see what's good, what's poppin' and stuff. And he brings his family along. But on the way there, they get attacked by the Wolfman. And let's say the Wolfman takes a little bite out of our main character, which I forgot his name. As always, I always forget the main character's name. But I'm gonna call him Wolfie. Anyways, Wolfie and his family are attacked by the Wolfman, and they decide to, you know what, we'll set up base at the childhood home. And they're just sitting there, waiting for day to come so they can escape from the Wolfman. But remember how I said that the Wolfman took a bite out of Wolfie? Well, it turns out that he's becoming a Wolfman too. So now the wife and the daughter have to deal with a husband and father who is a wolfman, and he's slowly becoming a wolfman in the house. So basically they're dealing with two wolves, or two wolf men, and they gotta figure out a way to survive. And that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. So with that out the way, let's move on to the things I liked about this movie. The first thing I liked about this movie was the beginning of it. The beginning of the movie was just Wolfie's childhood with his father. And it showed them being hunted by the wolfman. And it was sort of unsettling. It was like, it felt very different than the rest of the film. I'm not sure how to explain it, but I think the beginning of that movie was the scariest part. It's also due to the fact that you don't see the wolfman, or you don't fully see the wolfman. You see him in the background, but it's all blurred out and stuff. So I think that's what gives the beginning its uniqueness that the rest of the film doesn't have. Cause I feel like when they showed the Wolfman and his looks and all that, the scariness of the film went downhill. And now for the second thing I liked about this movie was the Wolfman action, dude. I know I said it's not scary, but it is pretty cool to see the Wolfman just jumping around and, doing Wolfman things. At one point he was fishing with his son. Yeah, there was a kid Wolfman, and they were fishing, and he was like, "Hey son, I'm over here catching fish. Why don't you go skip stones on the lake or something?" And the kid Wolfman, he's like, "No, I'd rather go study for my school stuff." And the Wolfman's like, "All right, that's cool, man." And yeah, so the second thing I liked about this movie was the Wolfman action. The third thing I liked about this movie was, I guess you could say, the sound. Because the sound of this movie really stood out to me. It made you feel very uneasy. It made you feel like you were right at the woods. The sound is also another reason why I love the beginning of the movie, because during it was very top tier. It made the entire environment just stand out. You could hear the crunching of the leaves and the branches, the snapping of twigs and stuff, the snoring of the dude next to you. They were very intense sounds. So that's all I gotta say for number 3. And that's all I'm gonna have for the things I liked about this movie. So let's move on to the things I did not like about this movie. I can't really think about much I didn't like about the movie. You know, I guess you could say the story, because here's my reasoning. The story, it was going great up until the point the dad started becoming a wolf man. Now that's when it started going straight down. Like slowly, just slowly, I started losing interest. And also that ending didn't seem much like an ending. It seems like they just like rushed it and were like, you know what, just have this. It's like they couldn't come up with another ending, so they just went with a basic one. Second thing you can add in there was listen, it's just me, but each time I saw the father, you know, Wolfie, he always had the look of like he just himself and he doesn't know what to do. I don't know, I just thought it was funny. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. So that was it. So let's move on to the overall rating for Wolfman. Alright, and the overall rating for Wolfman is going to be 7 full moons out of 10 full moons. You know, speaking of full moons, they never use the full moon cliche where if the Wolfman stares at the full moon, he becomes, you know, his wolf form, which I thought was interesting. I'm not sure if that's for like every iteration of the Wolfman, but who knows? I don't know myself, so whatever. And yeah, so this gets a 7 out of 10. You see, I was hearing a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, enough people to fill like a Walmart, or people were saying this movie was hot garbage. See, even the guy next to me was saying it was and me, I was like, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't like The Strangers Chapter 1 terrible, you know? It was average. It was, I don't want to say mid, because when you say mid, it's like a negative connotation to it. So I'm gonna say it was average, a 7 out of 10. And let's move on to the scare meter. I'm gonna have to give this movie a 2, a fat 2 in the scare meter. If you're not into horror movies, yeah, I think you'll be fine watching this. Unless you have like a fear of wolves, then I suggest you don't go watch it, because there's wolves in this. But yeah, that is The Wolfman. And if I was given the job of choosing a title for this movie, what would I call it? And do you know what I would call it? I'd call it Nosferatu's Inferior. Anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being you. And also thank you to Kanzi. I got the news that Kanzi passed away recently, so I just want to say rest in peace to him. If you don't know who Kanzi is, well, he was the smartest bonobo in the world, and also one of the world's greatest treasures. You know, he provided me with lots of laughs and entertainment, so I want to say rest in peace to Kanzi. And yeah, that's all I got to say for this review. Like I said, thank you, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Adios.